So during the daytime, if a person has to bury his dead, you first attend to the burial needs of the person, and then afterwards, the person attends to his obligation of Kriyas Megillah, right? Aval biyom sherotz l'kavra kuras meso kodem. Commotion is barad le'el simir tavreish peizayin seveil v'chein kori mispalel akach. So he reads the Megillah and davens after. We're talking about the Ovel, the Onein. At night we say, since the person doesn't bury at night, so therefore he listens to the Megillah at nighttime, even the Onein pre-burial. But during the daytime, since the person could bury his dead, so all the laws of Anidas come into play, so therefore he's not permitted to read the Megillah. So first he attends to the burial needs of his corpse, and then afterwards, once the burial takes place, he reads the Megillah and he davens. Lo odi from Yom Tov to Shabbos. Okay, let's see the Mishna Berura on that. That's what we're holding. Kfuris Meso Kodem Bushis Bar Rotz Lomer. Desham Mugach Lavdavka Meis Mitzvah Kodem Kriyas Megillah. The Gemara says Meis Mitzvah takes precedence over just, God forbid, a Jewish corpse unattended to. So it says that takes precedence over the reading of Megillah. Du adin kol mei she'en lo kovrim k'dei tzorcho. Habekego kovro tchila v'akach korei. V'nei bemes kvar kosov shemog Avrom d'harbi poskim cholkim al zeh svirlei d'kol mes Kriyas Megillah kodem kviroso. Others want to differentiate. The Gemara is speaking specifically, it's uniquely Nes Mitzvah. Because the person is lying in disgrace, there's nobody to take care of him, to attend to his needs. Therefore, that takes precedence over reading Megillah. But let's say a person has enough people to attend to his needs, his burial needs, and you want to set the funeral on Purim for 12 o'clock in midnight. Not a problem. Not a problem, right? Because factually, the person's not in disgrace. He was never unattended. Therefore, first you have the Megillah, and then you have the burial later. We're not talking about the old name. We're talking about the community. Even though your honor to the people attending the funeral, and themselves, the family, and not the burial, the buried dead doesn't make a difference. Factually, that person who died was never in disgrace. So therefore, he's not a mes mitzvah. He doesn't have that, any that. And that's the minog. What's the minog? When does the funeral take place? After Kriyas Megillah. After davening Kriyas Megillah, that's when they have the funeral on Purim. The Hiksha Mogen Avrom dot Teinach. No, the owner has, after the burial, we had a Megillah later in the day. But we're talking about the community per se. The Gemara says, if it's a mes mitzvah, even the community per se has to first attend to the burial needs of the person. Because they can't. But if the person was never, that was never the situation. It's a scheduled funeral, which takes precedence for Kriyas Megillah, and afterwards they attend to the burial needs of the person. Right. It depends how early it is. If they Meshachris is by the time they finish, after the time of Meshachris. But let's say they had a Netz minyan, and they had Kriyas Megillah. By the time they finished Megillah, they buried the dead by, let's say, by 10 o'clock. So 10 o'clock is still time Meshachris. Then the Onein, now it's an Ovid, he would say Shachris without tefillin, unrelated to tefillin. It's a whole day. No, tefillin is because the day of the burial. No. It's during the year too. It's the same thing during. It has nothing with Purim. Tefillin is a day obligation during the day. It's because the day of the burial of Ovel are referred to as pe'er. It's an ornament. And since the day of the death, the mourner is so disheveled, it's inappropriate he should wear tefillin. It's the inappropriateness. Has nothing to do with the time. It says because he's disheveled and he's unclean and he's not in a state of mind, in the physical and mental state, that it's appropriate for wear tefillin. Even after the burial. That's day one. No, it doesn't. It says not, it's more than the first look. If he's really dirty, he could shower. He could. Right, the whole That's what it is. Firstly, I had mentioned in the past, it's not so simple. La halacha, we rule, there's a question, when we say an onain, the day of the burial, he doesn't wear tefillin. Is it the passing was that day and the burial? Or what about, let's say the passing was an earlier day? The person passed away on Sunday, the burial was on Monday. So that means the way we rule la halacha, he puts on tefillin without a bracha. Since it's not the day of the death, he's only that overwhelming, disheveled, mental, disrupted state only if both happen on the same day, the death and the burial. But if the death took place on a previous day and the burial on another day, although he's still in onain, he puts on tefillin without a bracha. Sofi brachas lahakel, and on regarding tefillin, Sofi writes l'chumro, he puts on tefillin. That's the way we rule. He puts on tefillin without a bracha. Without a bracha. Depends when the death is. If the death and the burial on the same day, everybody agrees, no tefillin. My person can die at night. Person dies at night. No. Person dies at night, the burial is in the afternoon. Right? Again, you mean if he did, the death was a different day.
On Thursday, burial's Friday morning, there's no shackles.
We'll put him on mincha. Mincha time. Mincha time, correct. He doesn't put him during mincha. I mean, he should, because there's an Indian with film during Shemon Esrei. But even if he wouldn't put him on, if he puts him on, it says puts him on, takes him off. That's it. No. It's a question. No. There's a question. If both happen on the same day, or even not on the same day, he doesn't wear tefillin.
Even after the burial.
But the burial was on that day. So that means he was an only that day. So there's a question, even then he may not put on tefillin. So bracha is Sofi brachas lahakel, he doesn't say the bracha. But tefillin, which is a Torah obligation, he puts on the tefillin. Right? That's the halacha. Aber the onein ech hu chayiv b'kriyas megillah halu poter mikol hamitzvos ve'ech yotzim asher shom b'tzibur achrei she'oz lo hoye chayiv klal. He says what the tzibur does is one thing, but in terms of the onein himself during the daytime, there's no question. He definitely doesn't. He has no obligation to listen to the Megillah. He's not permitted. Even though the onein in the morning he heard the tzibur. We're talking about a set funeral, not a mes mitzvah. He has to hear the reading again. Although he heard it. Well, the kriya shema tefillah hu kshar onein b'mosachos. Regular. We deal with him as a regular onein. The Kodem Akfur hu potur, Lach Akfur Ein Leo Sim Ein Aleph, Mishna Berura Tziv Dalish, and Vur Al Kol Aprotim. Right, this we discussed. Remember, it depends. What we just been. If the burial took place, it was still the time of Shachris, right? Then he says Shachris. If not, there's no makeup because he was never obligated to daven Shachris. He just does mincha. Now he says lenient tefillin. Das kamachrom delo yoniach kedleil sim lamches ifei. This is the question. He doesn't put on tefillin. Some say he does put on tefillin. Achakach rotzlom avokodem akfuru potem izel lezer misayim lo odit mishabsi yomtiv yomtiv sheni shekobro v'chein b'shabs shemachti chalatchum tzarch akfuro oz b'kol mitzvah koshkin kan. Okay. Tomorrow we're not going to finish. Well, this